Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to the 7 o'clock on a Saturday live Q&A with myself, where I try to help you to put more fish on the bank, try and help you catch some. No sponsorship, hashtag not sponsored, and I'm going to answer and try and help you with some of your carp fishing conundrums, give you some options in your fishing. So, have we got anyone here yet? Is there anyone here? Let's see. How are we doing? Let's have a look. Ah, it's starting to come in. Alright guys, if you're just joining me, hope you're good. Let's just try to put that back in. There we go. Hi Morgan, alright Andrew, how we doing? Good to see ya. And you Dave Parry, Paul Del Monte, evening. Matt Merchant, evening. How's the audio anyway? No, I can't seem to get me. Let me know how the audio is, guys. Can you hear me alright? There we go, that's better. All good, brilliant, Matt. Feeling let down when casting. Paul Belmont, Cranky Carpers, great stuff, guys. Ben Stock, good to see you here. Nigel, Marshall, hi, Gav Cross, Craig Betts, Dennis Lane, Liam Jarvis. Good to see you all here, guys. It's good to have you here. 56 people watching. We're only a couple of minutes in. So, who's out fishing? Who's out there tonight? I'm indoors, as you can see. Who's out there? Who's out there doing it in the rain? Beautiful weather, really good weather for catching, I reckon. Graham Green, he's on the bank. Evening, Carpy Chris. Funny Paul Pard, very funny. I've been on the bank for about 2 weeks, just been catching up with some work and some bits and pieces, getting these all sorted. Look, we've got the green ones now, green black chickens, and the brown ones. Oh, cheers. I want that fish, that one there. That is the wood carving from Horton. Ben Faulkner. I wish I was on the bank as well, Paul. Daniel O'Brien, good to see you. Excuse me. Evening, Adrian Cooper. So, guys, what questions, Q&As can I help you with? Take some questions and see if I can point you in the right direction, or try and help you with some of your queries or your questions on your own fishing. See if I can help you with some options. Thanks, Ben. The carp dog, he's over there. Yeah, come here, boy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, he's playing shy at the moment. He's having pushing out a few Zs. Club Water in Kent. Oh, Paul Johnson. How about Chill and Mill? That's a good one. Loads of big ones in there. Or Medway Valley Fisheries. Lots of good waters they have as well. You need help with feeling the lead down, Paul Del Monte says. Well, I'll show you what I do. I cast out to any likely looking areas. Normally it's a 1 ounce or 2 ounce lead. I trap the line just before it hits the water, hold the rod high, and just feel it down till it hits the bottom. Then you should be able to, from doing that quite a few times, be able to tell what's on the bottom. You know, practice makes perfect. You know, and what I do is I just pull it back slightly just to see what's on there. And then if I'm happy there's no weed or it's a clearer spot, I'll put a rig on there, cast it out again on the clip again, Paul, feel it down, get the feel that I want when it hits the bottom, and then drag it back again a little bit. And if it's clear, then I'll put a normal rig on, normal bait, pop up bottom bait, bang that out there, and then I know I'm fishing effectively. Carp NCFC says, how long do you fish your fluoro leaders? I normally fish my fluoro leader. Even if I'm using fluorocarbon mainline, I'll fish a fluorocarbon leader. Now I fish 2 wraps, i.e. 26 foot, well 24 foot if you're using a 12 foot rod. Reason I change that fluorocarbon leader, even if I'm using mainline fluoro, every 3 weeks, because fluorocarbon is very heavy, light reflection from water is very good, but it loses that, it gets scratched up, everything else after 2 or 3 weeks. So I change it every 2 or 3 weeks. Evening, Carl Davies. Morgan Evans asks, what's the best day ticket lake you've been to and what made it a good water? I like Sandhurst Lake. It's a real good water. You have to book on. The guy runs it, Nick. He runs it really well. There's a minimum amount of swims that are free. So there's always 2 or 3 swims which are free that you can move into. It does get busy, but the fish are there and you always get a chance for a bite. I've actually caught them under the ice. I mean, if you see some of my videos, some of my vlogs from last winter, I actually caught one when the ice was coming up about 2 in the morning. So I'd say probably my best day ticket water I've ever been to is Sandhurst Lake. Aaron Paul asks, after casting, how long do you leave it before clipping a bobbin on? Really depends. If I'm fishing a tight line, I'll put the bobbin on straight away. If I'm fishing a slackish line, I'll leave it 5 minutes maybe, and then put my bobbin on. Pay off some line, let the line just settle down, then I'll put my bobbin on. I normally, if I'm fishing slack lines, I fish the bobbin on the floor or just up a little bit if I'm using a light bobbin. I hope that helps. T800 says, going to White Acres soon. Any tips going to fish Pat's Pool? Never fished White Acres, so I can't really give you any tips. But the tip what I do if I go to a new day ticket water is, because you don't know who's fished there before you in that swim, I tend to go with singles and try and see if the fish are in a feeding mood. And then if I start getting bites or liners, I put a bit of bait in. I don't go full hog straight in unless I know the water is a real hungry water and they love a bit of bait, like a bit of spod mix or something like that. Gareth Price, can you give me a clue on what bobbins to buy? It depends on what you want your bobbins to do. I just use the PTFE ones with a little clip in. I have a light one. I have 2 sets of bobbins, a light bobbin and a heavy bobbin. If I'm fishing far, I fish the heavy bobbin. If I'm fishing in the margins, I fish a light bobbin. If I want to fish a semi-slack line. Roy Close, really good question here from Roy. Hi Leon, do you think carp can detect PVA? I really don't know. I mean, it's a chemical, isn't it? And it sort of goes into the water column. So they may be able to detect PVA if it melts off, but I don't think it'll stay around for long enough for them to associate with danger. I mean, I've caught loads of fish on PVA stringers and things like that in the winter. I've never had any adverse effects where I think, or seen fish from up a tree or anything where I've put a little PVA bag out that they've veered away from it. I think the overwhelming factor is that there's food there and they want to get to it. So I don't think it might do with the pH levels and that, but personally I don't think it matters. Carp NCFC says, why do you use leaders 2 wraps long? Can you not use them, say, 2 meters long, or are they prone to crack-offs on the cast? Depends on if you're hitting the lead a long way. I like to have 3 or 4 wraps at least on my reel. If you're fishing a 6-foot leader, you're going to get a crack-off at some point if you're using a heavy lead. If you're using a light lead and you're only fishing at 30-40 yards, then you're not going to get the crack-offs. That's the reason I do. But I like to have as much possible of that leader, fresh leader, out as low as possible. Quarter stoves are good for all sorts of situations. The only problem with quarter stoves is, Matthew Randall, is that if you're using wheel bobbins, they tend to get stuck in the wheel. I've used a stow type bobbin before, and I've woke up in the middle of the night and the stow is actually tight against the wheel where it's froze, and I've had a fish on. But I think they might have improved them by now, I'm not sure. I think they might have a different type of clip on them, but that's my experience with them. Fellow Vapor, yeah, we're on the old vape. Hi Gidris, how are you? Any tips on fishing new waters? Blanky Carper says. Try and find out as much information about that water as possible if you're going to be fishing it quite a long time. I always tend to go in the first 2 or 3 sessions on a new water on singles, just to suss out what the fish are doing. You know, look what everyone else is doing as well. And normally by doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing, you'll catch more fish than everyone else. So fish get used to being fished for in a certain way. God, we've got some good questions tonight. Gavin Cross asks, are you a believer in smaller fish feeding attracts bigger fish to feed, or is this not true? I think it attracts the bigger fish to feed. So they all come to the party. You know, they're animals at the end of the day. If they see another animal feeding there and they're not getting caught or they're not suspicious or anything like that, then they're going to be more prone to feed on your spot. But the only problem with smaller fish feeding on your area is, 1, you might catch them, and 2, they eat all your bait. I'm good, Gildris. Very good. Thank you very much. Cheers, Dave. Thank you. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 5,000. We're at 4,700 and something at the moment. So we're trying to get up to that magical 5,000 mark. Thinking of buying a Fox broiler system like yours. How do you rate it? I like the Mark II. It's quite a good broiler system. And I was in torrential rain a few weeks ago, and it did start to leak a little bit, but it was particularly torrential. And I've not had any leakage problems with it before. Whereas the Mark I had a lot of leakage problems with it. And the material being so thin that it just, after a couple of years of using it, it just sort of disintegrated. But the Mark II seems to be a lot better anyway. It's going to improve over time, isn't it? Graham, the Dodge Green asks, when to recast on a busy day ticket water? That depends how many fish are in the day ticket water. If you've got a lot of fish and they come out quite a bit, then I'd be tempted to recast quite a bit if I'm not getting bites. Try a few different things. If it's somewhere like Linear St John's, where there's a lot of fish but they're very wary, they've been under pressure all the time, I like to keep my rods out there for a long period of time, like 24 hours. And I found that helps on busy day ticket waters because they don't like the constant leads going through the water. They tend to try and find a place where there's no leads going in. Cheers, Daniel Brian. Thank you for the great feedback on my videos. Hope you guys enjoy them. Well, we've got 70 of you in the house watching, 13 minutes in. Give us a like. Press that like button, guys. Press that subscribe button if you haven't already. New Carper, enjoying your videos and tips. Keep it up. Thanks, John Ord. Thank you for the great feedback. You know, I really hope you like how I do my videos and, you know, my tips and my, you know, my reviews and my question of the week and things like that. You know, if you don't, let me know and I'll try something different for you. But the overwhelming sort of majority is that you guys like it, so I'll keep on doing what I'm doing. No problem, Graham. Always a pleasure for you. Is that the South Lake? No, South Lake in Reading. I thought you meant the South Lake in Yateley. Nice pick behind. Yeah, that pick there. That's the wood carving from Halton. Bounty Lakes in France. I've never fished them, unfortunately, Ben. Thanks, John. Glad you're liking the videos. Any more questions, guys? If I don't answer them straight away, it's because they're flicking up quite quickly, so just re-input them again and I'll get round to them for you. Jess Campbell, I fish clay spots a lot. I really do like, if you find the clay spots on the lake that's got them, then because of the minerals in there, I've had some really good results on the old clay spots. You'll feel them because they'll be hard, and check your lead, your textured lead, and you get little streaks of clay on there. I mean, you could wrap your lead in clay or things like that. It's the minerals in the clay that the fish, they flank themselves on as well, to clean themselves off and to get the minerals into their body through their flanks. Thanks, Nigel. When's Love Island back on? God, blimey, I've never even seen that. I wouldn't even like to watch that. That's for women, isn't it, Love Island? So what do you think of this weather we're having then? Nice low pressure, raining. I don't know what it's like further up the country, but down the south of the country, it's spot on. Wish I was out. No problem, Kevin. Come, you should come over, all you guys, if you don't know about our Facebook group that we run. It's called It Only Takes One Bite. Go on there, ask for an invite, we'll get you in, and we ask loads of questions. We all help each other. We put up videos, we put up fish captures, and we generally just help each other on, you know, a product they want to know about or a problem with your fishing. It's just one big, really good community. Hi, Sean Mulqueen. How are you, guy? Good to see you in here. Hi, Leon. If a lake got a match on 40 hours, would you fish it a day after or leave it longer? I'd probably fish it that evening. So if you've got a BCAC match on over the weekend and then there's no one on it that Sunday night or whenever it is, I'd probably like to go then because the fish would be moving about, more likely to feed. I've seen it loads of times happen on day ticket lakes where they've had a full house, loads of bait going in, not that much caught, and then come the Sunday and the Monday, the fish go mad because there's no lines in the water. So I would say get over there in the evening. Lots of work to do, Lee. Plus, it was my my little boy's 10th birthday yesterday, so we had a good day out yesterday. Fens weather's good, Paul. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well done for clicking the bell icon, T800. That means you're subscribed, so you won't. And you guys have just come across the channel. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Then you'll never miss none of these live videos, none of these live streams, or you'll never miss any of the videos I put out. I put 3 a week out. So on a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Saturday. And hopefully over the next 6 months, I'm going to up that to probably 5 videos a week. No problem, no problem, Sean. Always a pleasure, mate. Hope you're well. Good for you, Matthew Randall. Cloudy in Shropshire, Gareth Price says. Warm in Durham, Matty Rushton says. Billy Oakley asks, how much bait would you put in an overnighter? Depends on the lake I'm fishing, but normally overnighters I'd fish singles. I'd try and locate the fish first and fish to them for an overnight. I'd fish singles or maybe 10 baits round, all 3 rods, something like that, at the max. Jamie Short, hi mate, just wondering what rigs you mainly use and bait preferences. Well, the rigs I use depends on the water and the bottom I'm fishing over. If it's a weedy water, I've found that pop-ups work better. If you've got no weed in there at all, I've found bottom baits work better. But I don't have a favourite rig. My favourite rigs that I use for different types of lakes. I hope that makes sense. Dave Fisher, for me it's vegging out and a fish is a bonus. Great. Lovely, Dave. You know, if your drug of choice is going fishing to chill out and get away from life, brilliant. That's what I do. I go out and I just chill out. Hi, Michael Adele. What do you think of the green black chicken ones? Got the green carpy green ones now. Loads of room in them. I like them really baggy. I've got brown ones as well. Dark chocolate. I've got loads more sort of ideas coming as well throughout the year, guys. So You know, subscribe to the channel. Get on that internal Facebook group as well. How can I be? How can I not be catching when the weather is so good? Ashley Metcalf. Just the way it is. You don't always catch. Not everyone catches all the time. You know, it's just one of the things. I don't always catch. I have plenty of blanks as well. Adrian Cooper, what advice would you give a junior angler? My stepson just started showing interest. I'd take him a few times, show him the basics. I would probably start off with roach fishing with a little whip or something like that. Get him involved, get him catching something, and then progress his interest with small carp on a little day ticket lake or a little club lake. You know, get him into fish handling, you know, properly, and different rigs and bits and pieces. You know, bring him along. Don't just hit it with him all in one go, I'd say. Or maybe just take him a couple of times with you just to see how he likes what you're doing. Get him involved that way. Brett Dunmo asks, have you used the Ronnie rig on the chod? No, I haven't. I've used the Ronnie rig once. I took it off in about half an hour. Just didn't have any confidence in it. I believe it's a great rig. Loads of people catching. But it's just not for me. I've got a couple of other rigs like, you know, a couple of other rigs that I believe are just as good, if not better, than the Ronnie rig. So I don't have to investigate that rig anymore, if you know what I mean. Pucker mate, I'm 50 Sunday, I'd love one. I'm 50 next year, Paul. Blimey. Andy Greening. Hi Andy, me again. Do you think that increasing my casting range over 100 yards, I would need to increase the eye size of my Free Spirit XS rods or go for bigger reels with better line lay? To increase your range over 100 yards, it's down to technique, the rods you're using, and the line you'll be using, but mainly down to technique. I would say the line, the lower diameter line you use with a leader, the further you're going to cast. For instance, 15-pound line's about 0.35. You go down to 10-pound line, 0.30, 0.31, you're naturally going to cast further. If you use a heavier lead with that leader system, with a lower diameter line, you're naturally going to cast further. But the actual angle and how you do it, that makes a lot. You can put 20, 30, 40 yards on your cast if you go for a lesson with someone who knows what they're doing about the cast. So watch some YouTube videos. John Starkey, he's 66 and still carping. Good for you, John. I hope I am. I'm still alive at 66, let alone carping. Love the black chicken shirts, mate. Great, John. Yeah, I quite like them as well, look. Bless them, eh? Look. Black chicken. Well, we've got loads more different ones coming. Dumping leads and long-term fish welfare. Good call, CW carp fishing. Brett Dunmo used to practice over the school field. That's a good way of improving your distance casting. Go and practice. Practice makes perfect. 67 guys in here, 23 minutes in. Shoot the black chickens. Yeah. Look to buy a new rod, medium price. What do you suggest? There's lots of good rods out there. When you say medium price, in sort of £100 sort of mark, there's some good ESP do some good rods. Fox do some good rods, about £100 mark. And look at the what's the other? There's another name of rod company. It's quite a new one that do some good rods as well. They also do an expensive one called the Gravity X, but I'm not sure which the name of the brand now is. I can't remember it. Sorry, I'll try and remember it in a minute. Carpy NCFC says, do you use light leads or heavy leads? Depends. If I'm fishing distance, I use a heavy lead, but 9 times out of 10, I'm only fishing 40, 50 yards, and I like to use an ounce to a 2 ounce maximum. I only like to use as light as lead as it needs to get to the spot I want to fish. Sonic, that's it, Brad. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Daniel Bryan. Thanks, Ben. Sonic rods. Have a look at those as well. Those three, the ESP, the Fox, and the Sonic, they're good rods for the money, around about the 100 quid. Christoph, the water has been green lately, but it's dying down now over the rain. Any tips on what rigs or bait to use? If you've got coloured water, I tend to use something bright, something smelly. Who's the handsome bloke? A better looking fish behind you. You better looking fish, you mean? That's a good few years ago, and I was a bit less fat. Yeah, you're lucky, Billy. Very lucky, mate. You've had your third kid, and your wife, sweet as a nut, lets you go out. That's why you're with her. Dave Fisher, do I spend lots of money each time you fish on bait? I don't really use a lot of bait. I don't use hardly any bait, unless it's particles. Then I use quite a bit if I'm going to water that responds well to particles. Yep, Matthew Randall saying Dow do some good prices as well for rods. Nest scope, yep, longbows. Yep, Sonic's good, Darren. They do some good rods. Evening, Mark Perks. Hope you're well. No problem, Christoph. No problem at all. We're getting Sonic Gravity X's. Anybody got them? Know about them? They're a lovely looking rod, Brad. They're nice and thin. That's what I like. And I think they're very similar to the high S's, but I'm not 100% sure. You want the old, where is it? The old man cave. My missus got me that for Christmas. I've got to put it on the door, the front of the door, so no one comes in. So what do you guys use? If you're fit, rig-wise, what's your guys' favourite rig? Tell me what your favourite rig that you like to use. Tell me. Put it in the comments. What rig is your favourite rig that you like to use? I like cork handled rods. Chod and Heli from Brett Dunmo. Hinge stiff, very good rig. Short naked chod, very good Ben. Yeah, Ben Faulkner multi-rig over a bit of light weed. Yeah, that's what I use a multi-rig for. One that catches. Best answer I've heard yet, Dos Smith. Best answer I've heard yet. Still, Daniel O'Brien, still love the KD plain and simple. Yeah, they're good rigs. They're all good rigs, aren't they? The thing is you have confidence in how you're using them. So if you're confident in whatever rig it is, and you're using a pop-up rig on a bottom bait, or on a bottom, clear bottom, or a bottom bait on a weedy bottom, and you're catching, you're confident, that's the best rig. Doesn't matter what anyone else says, doesn't matter what I say, because I'm confident in what I use. It's all about confidence you're fishing. It's 100% about confidence. Lee Booth says multi-rig. Ah, yes, does. You know, everyone's got their favourite rig, as I can see from what you're posting. It's what you feel confident in using. When people say to me, I'm struggling, I'm not catching anything, what should I do? What rig should I use? What bait? Go back to something you're confident in. If you're confident in a multi-rig, it doesn't matter what lake you're fishing, you've caught fish on that multi-rig and a pop-up before, go back to that. Go back to what you know works to get your confidence. You can't be unconfident with that because you know that works. It's always good to go back to, if you're struggling, to what works. Conneria, have I ever fished Echo Pool or would I want to? Is that Echo Pool in France? I love fishing in France and Holland and loads of other places. Zig, yeah, Zig rig's good. Dave Fisher says, about 30 years ago he fished a Hampshire Raven with a cheap rod, an eye missing and a Black Prince reel and caught a £9 barbel. It's not all about the gear, what you've got, is it? As if Dave Fisher there. You know, you could probably use a branch and a bit of nylon and you still catch a carp, I reckon. Old school, yeah. Brett Dunmo, a rig that you can cast that's showing fish. I would say chod, multi-rig, anything like that. D-rig, that's another good one to cast a showing fish. if you're fishing a bottom, clean bottom. What lead clips, Stu asks, am I using, and do you use Enterprise stuff anymore? I've always used bits and pieces of Enterprise for the plastic, like the plastic corn and that, when I use that to tip my bottom baits or to fish 2 bits of plastic. Lead clips, I'm using the atomic lead clips at the moment, because they really do eject the lead very well. But I've heard the Nash ones are pretty good as well. The Nash, the ones that eject their clip. Justin Holson asks, how do I rate carp particles, hemp and snails? I quite like it because it's something a little bit different with the big piece of the snail in there. Something different, isn't it? And I've used it a few times. Yeah, it's all right. Dennis Lane asks, ready-made or homemade rigs? Myself, because I've been doing it for such a long time, I make my own rigs. But whether you feel confident in, those ready-made rigs are as good as handmade rigs. Latest Graham, good for popping in, mate. Evening, Keith Paris, how are you, mate? Good to see you here. Fisher Fidge, Paul Pard. Exactly. Exactly, Connie Biggs. The fish don't know what gear you have till it's on the bank. Exactly. What brand of strength of line do I use? Dunk Edwards asks. At the present time, I'm using 2 lots of line. I've got 15 pound GTHD on, which I did a review on, and I quite like it for fishing distance. I've never used a line, 15 pound, that casts so far. UK fishing in general, which size hooks? Brett Dunmo asks. Now, I like to use big hooks, because once they're in, they're staying. I use a size 4 hook for most of my fishing, for everything. My trolley hooks are size 4, my long shanks are 4, my curve are size 4. I like big hooks. Brett Dunmo, Nash pretty good, use them. Yeah, no problem, Stu. I'd love to know your thoughts on a really weedy lake. I'm fishing chods, I know much too thick. I was thinking of floatfish boiling, sure the bait's not getting to the bottom. There must be spots there where the fish are feeding, either in the margins or out in the lake. I would create my own spot. If I was fishing a lake on a regular basis every week, I'd be putting in a bucket or 2 of particles in an area where no one else is fishing, that's neglected, where the southwesterly blows or where you've seen fish, and just keep doing it, and eventually you'll cast it out and you'll get a little bit more of a drop, a little bit more of a thud, and the fish will be feeding on it, and you'll make your own spots. The only problem with that is that everyone will be seeing what you're doing, and they'll be starting to fish your spots because you'll be catching every fish in the lake. Adrian Cooper, a 3 or 4 day social, loads of places you can go. The Quarry Lake in Essex, you've got Sandhurst as well, that's a good one, you can book up, you can have it to yourself. Brilliant place. Yep, or you can make a spot with a garden weed rake, Brett Dunmo says. I don't use backleads at all, Stu. Never really like them. They can get in the way. When you're really in the fish, the backlead hits the top of your ring and slides down. It's just something else to worry about. Anthony Stevens, oi mate. Yeah, been a while since I caught a live stream in a while. Hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, button the black chickens, yeah. Anthony Stevens, look, black chickens, get on them, mate. Manor Farm, Biggleswade, yeah, that's not a bad call either, Philip Payne, thanks for that. Chris Lewis, even with 6-7 foot of weed, there will be areas in your lake which are not as weedy. The fish have got to feed somewhere. You'll find spots. Just got to keep casting until you find, go donk, like that. Pro Clear, yeah, Matty Rushton. GR60, strong as old rope, the old GR60. What do I think is the best day to get water? Blimey. For me, I like Sandhurst. It's not too easy, but it's not too hard, and you've got some real good... It's a nice weedy lake, and you've got to be on your game to be able to be consistent on there. No problem, Mark Cormain. Good to have you here. Bait as hook bait. Michael Odell, no, but a very good idea. One I've thought about many times over the years, trying a snail shell, putting some paste in there or something like that. No problem, Chris. Carl Davis asks, so certain rigs tend to get used with only pop-ups on the hair, like the Ronnie multi-rig, chod, etc. Can you fish them with a bottom bait or wafter? Yes, and I know some guys who fish them like that and do very well. It's something different. Hi Aaron Sands, good to have you here. Dave Fisher, where can I buy a black chicken t-shirt? You can buy them from my website. If you go to www.leoncarper.com, you'll be able to buy them there. All sizes from small all the way up to 2XL. I've got tan ones, I've got the green ones, and I've got the new brown ones. Just put them up on the website tonight. Have a look there, Dave. Yeah, I'll stick it in. I'll stick it in here for you. Look. There you go. So I've had great service. My mark float set was a braid mine. I have heavy tape and nylon to the float using a run ring to the lead. It's tangle free. Yeah, very good, Andy. D rig, Connery, very good rig. Doug Edwards asks, is pink the best colour for hook bait? Depends on what you're confident in. I like pink, I like white, but I also like using natural ones, like a red fish. If you're using a red fish meal, I like to use a red fish meal pop-up or bottom bait. Depends on the light, and if the fish have been fished on, everyone's been using white pop-ups, they might shy away from them. Lots of factors. If I start off fishing 3 pop-ups, I'll fish 3 different colours just to see what's happening. The black chicken hoodies, yes, they will be coming out. Parksy, I'm just trying to source a really nice quality one. I think I may have done, and to get the colours right as well. So it's a bit of a lottery, so I'm trying to get samples. They take a week to 10 days, and then we'll go from there. So, yeah, so watch out. Watch out for the black chicken hoodies as well. Jack, what I would use? Jack, there's a really good question from Jack. What sort of bait would you use if you were pre-baiting a lake? Don't fancy keep chucking £10 a lake. Totally agree with you, Jack, and you don't need to. Get some hemp, get some party blend. It's really cheap for a 25 kilo sack. I did a video on my channel about making your own chili hemp. Well, you can do that with the party blend as well. Use that, you put a bucket of it out as long as you want, for as often as you want. And it's cheap. I just put a few boilies in there as well, a few old ones, a few chopped ones, just to supplement it. You use groats, they're really cheap, 20 kilo for about 12 quid. You know, and you can also go, when you go to the freezer centre, you know, Iceland or something, get a kilo, 2 kilo bag of sweet corn. You know, it's only a couple of quid, or a quid. Bang that in as well. There's loads of stuff you put in there. You don't have to use boilies to pre-bait or to fish with. Evening Spiro the Dragon, I'm good, mate. On a new water, would you fish a different rigs of meth on each rod until you work the place out, or would you use something you're confident in? I would go first of all with singles pop-ups or singles bottom baits if there's no weed, and then just see what happens. Try and find the fish, you know, experiment a little bit and see what happens. Hardly use any bait and see what happens. Best hook bait for quick bit I found, washed out pink signals. Yep. They work for me as well, Matty. Kim Madston asks, would you rather fish on a peg never fished before or a more established peg? One that's never been fished before. Definitely, Chris, I agree with you. There must be Heinz, Rooster Healthful, yeah. Yeah, pigeon conditioner. It's another really good particle you can use, nice and cheap. You can use that when you're fishing, or you can use that to bait up, clear an area, clear a spot. Always works. Trout pellet as well. You can get cheap trout pellets. Vitamin. That's a really old school sort of ground bait vitamin. That's a really good fish attractor. That it's got loads of protein in there. It's a dog food. Vitamin. You get like I think 10 kilo sacks of it. Carp Explorer asks, would you rather catch one big 40 or would you fancy 10 hard fighting 20s? Depends on the lake, depends on what the fish look like, depends if it was a hard lake. I don't know really. I'd rather catch 10 hard fighting, good looking 20 pounders over the course of a season than 140 that was horrible looking. Yeah, vitamin takes a really good flavour as well, Chris. I mix vitamin and hemp and maize and sweet corn and pellet. Loads of stuff you can put in there. Cradle or thick unhooking mat? Oh, depends, Colin, really. I like cradles, but I do like thick, like the Fox one as well. That's a pretty good unhooking mat. How come you're not out, buddy? I'm not out, Mike. Been busy working. It was my son's 10th birthday yesterday. I'm going out tomorrow evening for a couple of nights. Antiseptic. The garden was pretty good. That comes from a proper fish guy, fish breeder. Stick mix. I normally, Adrian Cooper asks, do I use stick mixes? I do. What I do is I buy a stick mix, or I get one from SSP Baits, which got all the bits in it and that. Use a few liquids, but I crush up 50% of that volume of stick mix of my boilies. So boilie crumb and stick mix mixed together. So you give them all the flavour of the boilie you're using as well. Cheers, Mike. Fox Easy Mat XL. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, Matty. Yeah, the Fox Easy Mat XL, I quite like that mat. That's a good mat. I've used those in a few syndicate waters where you have to have certain mats and that. But you should try, as Aaron Paul says, the pigeon mix, pigeon conditioner, 15 kilo for 15 quid. You use as much as that as you want to your heart's content. Cod liver oil as well, yeah. Do you use Call de Goo? No, I don't, Colin. Don't use Call de Goo. Kim Madston, ever fished in Denmark? No, but I'd love to. It's a big thriving carp scene in Denmark, would you believe? I was quite surprised as well. Took the mush after 10 minutes. I reckon they probably do as well, Mike. Cheapest place for bulk buy pellets? Oh, blimey. I would say, oh, blimey, now you're asking. Probably a pet store or an animal feed company. Like an animal feed where you walk in for horse stuff and horse feed, and that's where I get all my particles and stuff from. Best barrow. Depends really, Stu, what you like. I don't like high barrows, I like low barrows. I've got a low rider, real low barrow. I don't like the high barrows, they tend to tip off, very unstable. That's just me. Cheers, Carp Herman. Thank you for the feedback, loving my vlogs. Thank you. I backed in golf to take up fishing. I thought it cheap. Dave Fisher says he give up golf to take up fishing. He thought it'd be cheaper. I don't think so somehow. Bloody hell, fishing is so expensive, isn't it? It's always something nice that turns our eye, which we like the look of, that we might want to use, or a new bed chair, or, I mean, you can spend a fortune, can't you? Michael O'Dell asks, curve shank or choddy hooks on the multi-rigs? I always use the chod hooks because of the outturned eye. It just holds it better for me, but you can use curve shanks. I know people use long shanks on their multi-rigs as well. Depends on what works for you. You know, it depends on what you're confident in. Nest Trax barrow, yeah, that's a good barrow. I've used one of those before, Roy. What all-round mainline would you use? Connery. I would say, if you're looking for a cheap mainline, good all-round, which you can change every 6 months, I'd say probably Dow Sensor. Dow Sensor's a good one. I've always used that for years. I haven't used it for a few years now because I've used other lines, but Atomic Choddy or Nash Fang? Oh, Atomic Choddy, definitely. GR60, Matty Rushton says, yeah, really good line, really strong, abrasive, resistant line, the GR60. Well, guys, I'm going to take a few more questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up, because I've got to go and put my dinner on. Because Mrs. B is at work, and the old fluffy creature, he's asleep over there. So I'll answer a couple more questions, then I'm going to adios and get some dinner. I hope you like the new colours in the black chicken t-shirts. Go and check them out at www.leoncarper.com. Got the brown ones, tan ones. Have I got a favourite pop-up you like to fit? And don't forget, guys, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers as quick as possible. Sorry, Adrian. Have I got a favourite pop-up you like to fish? In the spring and the winter months, I like a white one or a washed out pink. This time of year, I like an actual food bait. Same colour, same smell as the bait I'm using. Yeah, well, send us a picture, Brett Dunmo. If you're be out there in France wearing the old black chicken t-shirt, send me a picture. Cheers, Sean. Glad that you like the t-shirts. Great new colours. Cheers, Keith. Great live show. Thanks, Matty. I'll be doing this every Saturday now. I'll try and help you guys with your questions and that. Mark Brown, did you like the t-shirt? Mark Brown's got a black chicken t-shirt. I'm going to take it to a beef with him. Bit of raving with a black chicken t-shirt. I bet you get loads of people going, what's that black chicken? What's that? Might become a bit of a rave craze wearing a black chicken t-shirt, might it? Just imagining beef or off your nut giving it one. Cheers, Brad. Always a pleasure as well. I really appreciate all you guys in here. I really do, coming into a live feed. I mean, there's about 80 of us, 100 of us the last time. You know, go and check out the Facebook group. Loads of good answers. Loads of good guys there who can answer your questions. No problem, Jez. Always a pleasure. Thanks again, Carl. Right, guys, I'm going to go. Until next Saturday, when I'll be doing my live stream again. I've got a new video coming out Monday, Vlog 1. And Wednesday, it is Question Wednesday. See you guys around. Thanks for turning up. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. And I'll see you for the next live stream and the next video. See you soon, guys.